Good evening, Vikings fans. This is your boy Rochester on Purple Gold Days. It is time for the Week 10 Picks and Power Ranking Show. Getting you ready for all the games for this weekend. I'm going to get you everything you need to know right after this. So let's get right to it here, ladies and gentlemen. First off, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Share this with your friends and hit that notification bell so that you get a notification whenever we go live or drop a video. So I've only been doing this for 2 weeks, so I can't pretend like I would have had this great a record through, the 7 weeks that I didn't, but only missing 2 games last week, and it was the Bills, our upcoming opponent, and I didn't have faith in the Lions. But I'm glad to be wrong, particularly on that second game here. So let's just get right down to it. Extra special Thursday night football game tonight. Yeah, extra special. All right, let me tell you what. This is going to be another snooze fest. Amazon's wondering why we spent all those millions or billions, however many they were. Carolina Panthers hosting the Atlanta Falcons. Somehow the Falcons are 2.5-point favorites on the road. Why? Because Carolina's just terrible. And Atlanta's just slightly less than terrible. I know Atlanta kind of hung with Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay's terrible too. This is the worst division in football. And somehow, some way, a garbage team like either Atlanta or Tampa Bay is going to get into the playoffs. But alas, I'm going to go with this joke every week. Packers, why don't you petition to be moved to the South? I digress. This had a very good chance of being the stinker of the week, but I'm just going to take Atlanta because, well, they have something to play for and Carolina does not. We have a halfway decent matchup in Munich Sunday morning, where the 6-3 Seattle Sea Chickens go and face the aforementioned Tom Brady-led Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Listen, Tampa Bay can afford to lose this game because they've got real no competition. Seattle, they're right on our heels for that 3rd seed, ladies and gentlemen. So let's just keep in mind that, we've got off into a great start. We're all talking about how we can beat a 1 seed and catch Philly, but this Seattle Sea Chickens team is no joke. I seriously don't know how Tampa Bay is favored by 2.5 points. I really want Tampa Bay to win, just on the off chance we need some margin of error for that 2 seed. But at the end of the day, I'm doing this to be right, no matter what I want. So I'm taking Seattle, and let's just call it for what it is. I don't know how Seattle doesn't win this game. Hopefully wrong about that. In the battle for second place in the NFC North Division, sorry. That's just funny. 2 6-loss teams. The winner of this game is going to be in second place in this division. The roar has been restored, at least it was last week. It was great to see the Vikings game out at the Score North gathering. We had the Lions and Packers game on right next to it, and by coincidence, the moment that the second Greg Joseph field goal went through was the exact moment that the Aaron Rodgers pass was incomplete and the game was over, so we got a double roar there. Chicago's favored by 3. You get 3 points for being the home team, which basically means Vegas thinks that these 2 teams are equally bad. I'll say this. I'm going to give this to Chicago only because they have been averaging 31 points a game for the last 3 weeks. So you flip a coin, but I think the Bears are ultimately going to win this one. Mr. Unlimited himself, good luck. You're terrible, Russell. You had your time, though. You're a Super Bowl champion. Can't take that away from you. Denver Broncos, I believe, coming off a bye. They're going to fly out to Tennessee. A West Coast team going east. Tennessee, even with Malik Willis, hung tight with Kansas City last weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a little surprised that they're only 2.5-point favorites. But as far as I'm concerned, this game should be no contest. I have Tennessee winning by at least 7 points there. Another snoozer of the game. You know what? Jacksonville, good win last week, but you're still the cute little club that, you're still 5 or 10 years away from ever being competitive. I do like the Jaguars now that they don't have Urban Meyer, but Kansas City got a wake-up call last Sunday night, almost losing to Tennessee. Kansas City, they're 9.5, 10-point favorites. Kansas City is going to run up the score on these guys. They win by at least 17. Jacksonville stands absolutely 0 chance of going into Arrowhead and winning that game. Cleveland Browns. Okay, that was a nice little win you got last week. I'll give you that one. Yeah, you're not going to Miami and winning. I'm sorry. The Dolphins, after all the trades they've made and the moves they've made, knowing that they need to stay competitive with Buffalo and Kansas City et al. In the ultra-competitive AFC, they didn't do all of this for nothing. Yeah, okay, it took them a little bit to get past Chicago last week, but so what? They still put up 35 points. I'm sorry, Cleveland. It was a nice win that you had over your division rivals last week. I didn't see 2 weeks ago. Beg your pardon. But bottom line is this. Miami is going to win by at least 10. So if you're a betting person, and again, this is for entertainment purposes only, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a betting man, that would be probably the one game that I would touch. I'll take Miami easily over the Cleveland Browns. How the New York Giants, I know they lost their last game, but coming off a bye at home against Houston, only 4.5-point favorites. What does Vegas know that I don't? The Giants are probably the fourth or fifth best team in this conference besides, Dallas, Philly, the Vikings, and Seattle. I know they lost Seattle. Okay, that's well and good, but the Houston Texans are garbage. Yes, Houston looked for a quarter and a half, maybe two, to hang with Philadelphia last week. Houston's terrible. Houston, you don't got a problem. You got lots of problems. New York Giants, they're going to rebound. They're going to easily win this game. I'm going to say by at least 10 points that the Giants are going to. I don't understand how it's only 4.5 right now. But there's a reason why they got real tall buildings in Vegas. Is because some people know stuff to make sure people bet. I digress. Another candidate for snoozer and stinker of the week, the New Orleans Saints, Pittsburgh Steelers, 5 wins combined. Okay, seriously, 5 wins combined between these two teams. I don't know how the Saints are favored. I like Pittsburgh in this game. I know they're coming off a bye week. I still love Mike Tomlin. I think Pittsburgh's going to easily, I'd say by at least 10 points, Pittsburgh's going to win that game. I know, rookie quarterback. I don't care. It's Mike Tomlin coming off a bye. New Orleans is terrible. Finally get to the stinker of the week here. Like I said, I had a lot of candidates here, but somehow, some way, the 2-6 Raiders, who have been terrible, are somehow 5-point favorites. I know they're at home, and I know Indy's bad, but so are the Raiders. Again, what is it with these games this week? I've had like 1 or 2 good games so far that I've actually talked about. Stinker of the week. I don't even really care about this game other than the fact that I'm just making predictions on every game. The Raiders have let me down both times already, if I recall correctly. But bottom line, I'm going with the Raiders just because they're at home. Again, snooze fest. I don't even know if anybody in the local markets are going to watch that game here. Halfway decent game. Unfortunately, the records of the teams don't reflect that here. This is Cliff Kingsbury's last stand for real. I mean, I think he's gone at the end of the season regardless. The Rams, this is their last stand here. They get to 6 losses, even in the ultra-weak NFC. This is it. Loser of this game is officially eliminated from playoff contention. At the end of the day, for me, I still think that Sean McVay is going to have a touch more than Cliff Kingsbury. I don't want to get into the argument about Kyler Murray or Matt Stafford or compare him to many other quarterbacks that we might know and love, but these two teams, again, another snoozer. But I'm going to give the advantage to the home team, and because they got Super Bowl pedigrees, they're still the champs until they get knocked off, and they're going to get knocked off, the last week of the regular season because I don't think this team makes the playoffs, but I'm going to take the Rams. Just because Arizona, they're so Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, it's ridiculous. Oh, look at that. Finally, a good game. How about that? San Francisco 49ers. Am I reading this right? They're favored in this game. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they are. And by a halfway decent margin. Even though the Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers, have a halfway decent record. They're one of those middling teams over in the AFC. That's fine. They're not top tier, but they're a middling team. And I've been telling you for 3 weeks, even before they made that trade for Christian McCaffrey, that the 49ers were the team that I don't want to see in the first round of the playoffs. Listen, why San Francisco is a touchdown favorite ought to tell you something. They've got a really good offensive line, and they got a really good defensive line. We can talk about quarterback play, we can talk about wide receivers, all that other good stuff. Offensive line, game still won in the trenches. San Francisco 49ers are a team to be reckoned with. They're going to stick around with Seattle, and they're going to be in a dogfight with Seattle for that West Division. And I'm just going to say it right now. San Diego, just kidding. LA, good luck. You're not going into San Francisco. Battle of the Bay Area, I don't care. San Francisco wins this game. Monday Night Football, congratulations to the Washington Commanders. You did your service by beating the Green Bay Packers earlier. Yeah, we let you hang around. Oh, that's right. The refs let you hang around with that bogus trip of what would have been, at minimum, a knockdown, most likely an interception. Okay, you got 17 points on the board. You really got 10. Got a lot of help there. Philadelphia's going to mop the floor with the Washington football team. Taylor Heineke, it's been nice. It's been real, y'all. Philadelphia, I believe, is favored by 11 points. I don't even remember if I put it in there because they're just going to absolutely destroy the Washington Commanders there. So let's just get that one out of the way. To the main events. That's right. Even though they're terrible, We always do the Packers second to last before the Vikings game. We all know here in Minnesota how much we hate the Packers. Well, let's not forget how much we hate the Cowboys too. But I've always said, you want the opponent you face to be coming off of a win rather than a loss, which is part of the reason why I picked Buffalo, because I didn't want them to be like, oh, well, whatever. But you know what? Who cares? Dallas Cowboys. I never liked cheering for the Dallas Cowboys. I never liked cheering for Mike McCarthy. But I am going to thoroughly enjoy Mike McCarthy getting his revenge over the team that fired him after bringing them a Super Bowl. That's right. Mike McCarthy brought that team that Super Bowl. Okay, I'm just kidding. I'll just remind people that Aaron Rodgers was relatively raw. And yeah, he got to sit behind Brett Favre for 3 years. But, let's give a little bit of credit to the coach that, kind of developed Aaron Rodgers a little bit. Did he have a good player to develop? Sure. A lot of talent there. No doubt about it. I mean, he's an all-time great. But, McCarthy did refine him while he was sitting behind Brett Favre. All I'm going to say is this. It's going to be a dogfight in the next 2 weeks for the Vikings here. We're going to talk about their game shortly here. But Dallas is going to come in feeling high and mighty because they are going to romp the Green Bay Packers, and it's not even going to be close. To the main event. 7-1 Vikings, 6-2 Buffalo Bills. I'll tell you what. We all know going into the season, we all do our obligatory, let's look at the schedule. Okay, win, loss, win, loss. We all know we wasn't counting on Buffalo being a victory. Still going to be a tough game regardless. I don't care about this Case Keenum versus Josh Allen, and I don't care what the media says. Well, if the Vikings beat the Bills, it's only because they faced Case Keenum or because they faced Josh Allen, who is not 100% healthy. I don't care. Are we putting asterisks by every single win that you don't have your starting quarterback? Okay, guess what? We still beat the Miami Dolphins, as an example. Bottom line is this. This needs to be another Dalvin Cook game, and I'll tell you why. I don't care who's quarterbacking the Buffalo Bills. They still got a lot of talent. Keep them on the sideline. Okay? Keep them on the sideline. The Bills' defensive line is solid, but is nowhere near as good as Washington's defensive line was. So they're not going to be running as much interference. They're going to rely on their secondary to slow down the passing game. Run Dalvin Cook. Yes, he's got his little brother on the other side, so he's going to want to have a little extra motivation there too. This game is, how many motivations do we need? We got Case Keenum and Stephon Diggs. Diggs for sure, but maybe Case Keenum there, Minneapolis Miracle. We got the Cook brothers, and oh yeah, Harrison Phillips might have a little something about this revenge tour as well. I'm just going to say it like this. I don't care who we play. Don't care where we play them. This team's going to be competitive. This team might not even be up early and then get down. And probably not a might, because that's just what they do. Okay, and we're just going to have to accept it. SK finally said to me, Justin, just accept the fact that you're going to have dang near 2 heart attacks every weekend, because that's just who we are. We muck it up. And we're going to muck it up in Buffalo. Calcutta Clipper, as Denny Green once said. But I digress. I'm going to say it like this. I've always said that I try to be as objective and non-homerish as I can be. But I'm still taking the Vikings, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to go into Buffalo. I don't care if it's Josh Allen. I don't care if it's Case Keenum. We are going to win this game 27-17, regardless of who the quarterback is. I usually don't give score predictions, but I'm telling you right now, 27-17, mark it down. Dalvin Cook goes for 120 and at least 2 touchdowns, saying, hey, little brother, your day's going to come, but not today. We'll see Dalvin Cook and his brother and his mom after the game. His mom's probably going to have one of those jerseys where you cut up one of each and, stitch them up together where you got half on one side, half of the other. We all know Steph Diggs and Justin Jefferson are going to do the jersey swap. We all know the Cook brothers are going to do the jersey swap. But the Vikings are on a roll. They are battle tested. They don't need to say, oh, we have to face Josh Allen in order to be battle tested. They've been battle tested. Okay? It's as simple as that. Vikings going to win this game. We are going to move yet again closer and keep pace with the Philadelphia Eagles and stay ahead of the Seattle Sea Chickens. Quick power rankings. I'm just moving these down because I'm just getting rid of all these bad teams here. The Super Bowl contenders this week are the same. I rearranged them. No, the order is the same as it was before. Although, actually, no, I think I had Buffalo ahead of Kansas City. But having said all that, I don't want to hear about, oh, wow, the Vikings got a better record than Buffalo. Who cares about record? I care about who I think is got the best chance to win the Super Bowl. I know I've got Dallas on the left. I have them pretty much even. And guess what? We got 2 of the other 5 top 5 teams on our schedule the next 2 weeks. Guess what? You win both these games, I'll put you ahead of Kansas City. Yeah, Philly ain't losing. Philly's not losing to Washington. Having said that, Seattle and San Francisco, they're going to battle that out. Miami and Tennessee are solidly in, as are the 2 teams from New York. As far as the pretenders go, or borderlines, as I'm now calling them. I'm not even calling them pretenders anymore. See, you don't see the Packers on here. You don't see the Rams on here because they're pretenders. They're nobodies. Atlanta and Tampa Bay get to be on this list because one of them is going to go to the playoffs because they're playing in a crap division. The Superchargers, they're just kind of hanging on. They might get moved out of the borderlines after this weekend. Cincinnati's had some ups and downs, but they're going to be around there, so they're going to still be in that list. But bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, your Minnesota Vikings are going to win this game on Sunday. I'll have the full breakdown on the preview show that'll premiere Saturday morning. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel here. We are going to be dropping some episodes here and there, and I'm going to make the announcement again if you didn't already hear. I have partnered up with my buddy Dave from Skull World. He has done all kinds of lay work, and on Tuesday night, we're going to be simulcasting like we do every Tuesday night on a show we call Under the Lights. Special guest this week, Vikings Hall of Famer, Ring of Honor, number 44, Chuck Foreman. Now, for you younger crowd, you might not know, who the heck is this Chuck Foreman guy? Ask your dads, or your moms, or whoever else taught you how to be a Viking fan who Chuck Foreman was and who he is. Pound for pound, is he the best running back the Vikings have ever had? No, it's hard to say that with this guy named Adrian Peterson. But in his prime, in his day, he was the dual threat back. And that was back in the 70s, ladies and gentlemen. It was even before my time. Keep it tuned to Purple and Gold for days. This is your boy, Justin in Rochester. Thanks again for joining. It was great to have you with me. Try not to fall asleep during the Thursday night game. Keep it tapped down here. Hit that subscribe button. Ring the notification bell so anytime we drop or I go live, comes right to your notification box. Thanks again for joining us. Catch you on the flip side.